The National Training Agency, as the central coordinating body responsible for all technical and vocational education and training in Trinidad and Tobago, focuses on the development of a highly skilled, enterprising, and globally competitive workforce in support of sustainable economic and social development. The coordination of TVET is of strategic importance nationally and is required to enhance workforce development programs aimed at improving employability and reducing the skills gap. As such, the agency is focused on the communication and promotion of TVET in order to build awareness and understanding of programs, training, employment, entrepreneurship, and leadership in TVET. The NTA is collaborating with agencies such as YTEPP, MIC, NEDCO, and Youth Business of Trinidad and Tobago to promote vocational education and training aimed at empowering youth to participate in skill-type entrepreneurship, community-based skills programs, and apprenticeship that leads to employment. When a youth is equipped with essential skills, he or she can utilize them to feed, assist others, and even invest for future use, aiding the nation economically. The goal of the campaign is to inform, empower, and educate the youth market about successes in TVET. In this installment of Youth Development in TVET, we feature the General Manager of the Youth Business of Trinidad and Tobago, Mr. Shedron Collins, as he discusses youth empowerment through entrepreneurship and the high impact of youth accelerator programs to facilitate youth access capital, mentoring, and training. In today's discussion, he is joined by entrepreneur Jonathan Joseph. The National Training Agency welcomes Mr. Shedron Collins and Mr. Jonathan Joseph.
All right, great. So thank you. And folks, welcome. I'm Shedron Collins. I'm the General Manager for Youth Business Trinidad and Tobago. We're a not for profit organization focused on empowering young persons to build profitable and sustainable businesses. And overall, we're here to really create and build a better and more sustainable future for all using the power of entrepreneurship. So it was really great that we were here today to speak about youth empowerment and speaking to one of our entrepreneurs and our success stories that would have gone on to develop their business. And I wouldn't go through this introduction because I feel this introduction is part of the journey, and I really want to make sure that we focus on the journey. So, with that, I would let's speak a little bit about YBTT, and then I'll bring in our special guest today. So, Youth Business Trinidad and Tobago, we, like I said before, empower young persons, 18 to 35. Sometimes you go a lot younger in it, sometimes you go a little bit older. So, 18 and 35, a little gray area there, through training and mentorship mainly. Occasions we provide funding either through grants or through loan funding as well. So with the power of empowering that we spoke about, providing that training, that mentorship, and those expertise to help persons understand the skill set and a technical aspect, but also learn from people who would have been successful, people who would have failed on their own. And I think my special guest today would be categorized as a mentor in terms of his discussion today. So we're going to talk to our special guest, and I'd like to introduce Jonathan Joseph. So Jonathan, how are you doing?
I'm fine. I'm fine. Happy to be here.
Great. And I'll start the ball rolling. So I didn't give you any introduction because I wanted to hear it from Jonathan's mouth, right? So, Jonathan, can you tell us a little bit about your business, what you do, and we'll go a little deeper in that.
All right. Well, as Shedron said, my name is Jonathan Joseph. I'm the owner of Autolegions, Automotive Service and Repairs. Now, basically, general thing, we do automotive repairs, we do collision repairs, general overall maintenance of vehicles, company vehicles, fleet maintenance, electronic diagnostic, and also hybrid services.
Okay. All right, great. And I think well, it's important to get two stories, right? We want to get the story of you as an entrepreneur, and I also want to get the business story as well. So, how did the business start off? What was the first bolt that was not the business then?
Shedron, well, generally, well, I've actually grown up in an automotive field, right? From as long as I could remember, I've always been dabbling with cars. You know, pops, my dad. You know, I got a lot of upbringing with him. Basically, he was a mechanic back in the days, so I learned a lot from him. When I reached, secondary school, was entering. I was looking to actually go into university, and I decided I saw some courses come up. I decided not never try this thing. That was actually NESC. That's a government running program. And after doing that, I realized I really have a knack for this automotive thing. And I just work at it and build at it. And from then I just continuously build. I work for a couple companies. While working for the companies, we got well, I got a lot of training, international training, as well as really good local training. And that actually kind of built me to the point of looking to open my own business. I had a lot of encouragement from my employers, sorry, which was local and foreign employers. And, they actually coaxed me into, you need to open a business, you're good at it. And they developed my skills. I developed my skills. And yeah, that's how we went along with it.
And we talk about a big part of youth empowerment is the support system, right? So I guess coming from a family in terms of the mechanics repairs, how supportive was the family in terms of you going into this course in terms of a career?
Well, they were pretty supportive. My dad obviously supported me 100% at it. Well, he actually supported me at anything I wanted to do, either to stay in the field or to go elsewhere. But he was really, really happy and proud that I was actually into the field and wanted to further it as like a group of generation automotive technicians, that kind of thing. But doing it from a standpoint of, okay, he was like back in the days, old school mechanic, as you will want to say, and me taking it a step forward of studying it, doing my degrees in it, just continue studying. No, the support system was there, so I really didn't have any issues in terms of guidance and helping me to move forward in pursuing it.
I think part of that lighting that fuel and keeping that drive is that support system. So in anytime we talk about youth empowerment, it always starts at home, right? So how are we empowering young persons, empowering the next generation? It has to happen at home. And I think once you leave home, you had several employers who are encouraging you to do the additional studies, right? Become trained, become skilled, specialized in what you're doing as well. So tell me a little bit about that in terms of your in the career, and then we will talk about the transition from career to an entrepreneur.
All right. So in terms of the employers encouraging, they were very instrumental in it. My first job was at BAM Motors, that's a Renault company. The Renault brand vehicle is a French vehicle. And initially, I went in as a trainee to learn about the vehicles. And then when, having my initial training from home, and I went into the corporative, as I may say, lifestyle, it helped a lot. Because when my employers saw that, hey, this guy is not really much of a trainee, he's more like a full-fledged employee, we could put him on real hard jobs to do. And he was getting through. I mean, I was getting as a trainee, I was doing 100% productivity and a much more faster or more productivity than the actual technicians that was there. And I was also teaching the technicians that was there for years different ways how to do the job and to do it properly. So when my employers actually saw that, they was like, okay, well, we could train this guy, we could give him some further education, and we could keep him as long as we could keep him. But there's only so much they have done, because the company went into receivership, I actually got the push into opening my own business and the information to open my own business.
Yeah, I would say it's the opportunity to start your own business, because when we talk about opportunities, you have to be prepared for opportunity, right? And that preparation of being prepared is that gaining that experience, learning the skills, all those aspects, so that when the opportunity arises, then you said, okay, it's time to make the jump and the leap. So I mean, that is a two things. So yes, you have the skill sets, but how did you overcome the mindset of getting out there and doing this on my own?
Yeah, it was real difficult, to be honest. I'll be very honest with you. It's very difficult because being an entrepreneur and owning your own business is no better roses. You have no life. You have no time for yourself anymore. You have to work hard. No matter how hard it gets, you just have to keep pushing forward. So basically, I was working while I was working for the companies. I was working a basic 8 to 5 job. After leaving work, I was also working at home, and that went from whatever time reach back home, maybe 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, to 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and that went on for years. While doing that, it's just building on everything, building on the workshop, building on customers, building on finances. It was very, very difficult to make the transition into working for somebody for working for myself. I'll encourage anyone to do it, but you have to have a very strong mind and not give up on doing it.
So even that big part of youth empowerment is believing in yourself, right? Yes, you have the support system, and the support system can be there cheering you on, but when it's that 2 a.m. and you're up working on the business itself, the support system sleeping. Right? So you have to be your own support system at that point. And how do you kind of brace that mental challenge? Because around 11, I heard some entrepreneurs tell me around 11 p.m. and 3 a.m. you get the dark thoughts of, this really for me, by this, I really want to be doing this thing. And it's all about how do you empower yourself at that point. So I mean, what strategies have you used? Do you do anything in terms of mentorship, podcasts, books, YouTube, anything like that?
Well, that's a bad mind, basically. That's as simple as I could put it. So at the end of the day, the way I've been taught, nobody gonna make it happen for you. Only you can make it happen for yourself. So if you think that, okay, well, I can leave this until tomorrow, you could do it today. And why leave it for tomorrow? So my mindset was always that if I could get it done today, I will do it today. I'm not gonna leave anything back. And when the dark thoughts, as you say, coming into your mind that, if this really for me, it maybe came into my mind a couple of times, but I was never a person to give up on anything. Although how hard it may be, if work was there, if work wasn't there, if I have employees or no employees, I never had one point of my journey that I will have decided, I will not quit. Let's push forward and try different ways to mix things up. Okay, this not working for me, I'll try it this way. And that's how we used to just look at all aspects of the situation that I've ever been in.
That mixing things up is part of the learning as you go on to it, because when you start the business, you're not going to know everything, right? Some of the things you're going to learn from a mentor, some of the things you're going to learn on the fly, some of the things you're going to fail at and learn from that failure, right? And I kind of want to talk about that. So I mean, a lot of young entrepreneurs going into this, they're going to meet some challenges. They're not going to fail sometimes. Failing is part of the journey, right? I don't know if you're willing to share any experience or in terms of like a personal experience in terms of a failure that you would have had along your journey, or possibly what a young entrepreneur can do to overcome that feeling.
I wouldn't say I failed at any point. As I say, I learned, it was experiences that I learned from. So having contracts, really good contracts, and losing the contracts because of the way I was managing stuff, actually open my eyes and say, okay, I wasn't managing this contract properly. Let me learn how to manage contracts differently. And on doing that, securing contracts was a little bit easier. Having employees, dealing with employees, so hiring employees was a big issue as well. Hiring somebody with a skill and hiring somebody with motivation is two different things. To get both of them at the same point, it really had to get employees with the same kind of mindset that you have. Yeah. So basically, how I try to get employees that have the same kind of mindset or willing to learn something new, basically. So as I always tell everybody, if you're working on something or doing something, do it like if you're doing it for yourself. Take pride in what you're doing. You do it properly. So you don't have to come back. You do it for yourself. the way you will want somebody to treat you, you treat the person the same way. Same thing goes with your clients, with anybody you're dealing with.
And especially as motivated as you, right? It's like somebody taking care of your baby.
Basically that's what you do. That's what I try to do and encourage a lot of young people that want to start their own business or dealing with clients or having issues. They'll come. There's like, Johnson, having a problem with this person and da. I was like, okay, so you need to learn your client. Not every client is the same, and not every client will have an issue and they want it to be dealt, but they don't understand how the issue is, what the issue is, and how it have to be dealt with. So you have to learn your client, learn how to deal with your client, and then everything doesn't come very, very easy once you know who you're dealing with, basically.
Yeah. And I think we always talk about customer service as in Trinidad and Tobago itself, and we always complain about customer service. But when you step into the shoes of being an entrepreneur yourself, right, you realize that you are now serving customers. So how, like you said, treat people like you would want to be treated. All right. And I'll piggyback on what you said there. So, I mean, for entrepreneurship, for me, it's yes, knowing about the clients and what their needs are. But a part of that journey is that self discovery, knowing yourself, knowing exactly what you're strong at, what your weaknesses are, something that would trigger you, so you can be aware of it. I mean, what was, if you had to look back, what are some of the things that you learned about yourself as part of being an entrepreneur?
What did I learn about myself? Is a very long journey, to recall something like that. More patience. You had to have patience when you being an entrepreneur. Nothing gonna come easy. You had to work for it. You can't expect it to happen overnight. Whatever you want, whatever dreams you have, whatever goals you have, take it easy, take it slow. The race is not for the swift, but those who can endure. You understand? Just take it one day at a time. You set goals. It could be far-fetched. It could be goals for today, for tomorrow. You set your goals. It take time, and you just try to accomplish it day by day. So patience is one of the biggest things I overcome on being an entrepreneur.
Yeah, and that part of that being patient aspect is also coupled with having a vision, right? So when you first started into this journey, you closed your eye and just probably saw this big factory with services and stuff like that, and that's where you really want to get to, and you're slowly building towards that. And part of that, we talked about the mindset and being motivated and self-motivated and having that support system. Um, is going out there. And I think one of the things that I noticed about you is that I don't know if it became from the employers that you had in the past or the support system that pushed you as well. Part of things I noticed is always be training, right? Always getting some information, being in top of, because the world of mechanics change, right? Right? New equipment, new software as part of it. Are you up to date? I always tell people you're updating your laptops all the time, right? Are you updating all the equipment as well, right? And updating yourself as someone you can handle those situations. So I mean, would you say that is something that is for somebody starting in your field, that is something that you encourage? A continuous learning.
Yes, of course. That's very important. Continuous learning. Like, I never stop studying. Every night I will go. I mean, YouTube is the best friend now. Even if you have your degree, whatever is the case, you still have a lot of information on the internet. You have to keep up to date. During Corona, I mean, it was very limited on doing stuff, but they have internet. You can always sign up for a course. And plenty of universities are way that doing automotive, and just keep updating. You have to keep updating because the way the automotive world is right now, it rapidly progressing. And if it stay with this one basic knowledge, it's gonna get left behind. So you always have to be updating yourself in terms of education, knowledge. Programming is one of the most important things right now. You need to start for an entrepreneur that in the automotive industry. You have to learn some kind of IT. Have to, because programming on vehicles is actually the future. With these new electronics vehicles, hybrid vehicles, you don't want to be left behind.
Right. And I think it's part of that entrepreneurship is having that foresight, knowing what's coming. So what you need to get ready for.
Yeah, basically you have to get ready for it. You have to. If you sit and really think about it, how long would I change oil on a transmission for? Or how long should I work on an engine, change oil on an engine for? These things, everything becoming electronic, so you have to know when you're going to move forward, how you're going to move forward, and you have to plan ahead. You have to plan way ahead. Waiting for it to meet you not going to make sense because you'll get left behind.
And I think I kind of want to wrap the whole thing in a full circle. So, I mean, what would probably be an advice that you would probably provide to a young person looking to get into this field, and probably even generically in terms of entrepreneurship? What advice would you give them?
Don't give up because everything gonna get hard in any business, automotive or any business you're trying to open. You will always have downtime. You'll always have a part of your business that you won't be making money. You won't get customers. Things not gonna go right. Nothing happens by luck. You have to work hard for it. Be your own support system. Don't ever look for somebody to support you. You have to be your own support system. And this whole entrepreneur lifestyle, if you wanna look at it, you have to be your own support system. Because if you look for support for somebody and you don't get it, that's the time you'll start to, maybe this not for me, maybe I should just go and work for somebody else. That kind of thing. You have to be your own support system.
So I think we can wrap empowerment as part of believing in yourself, right? We talked about having patience. We talked about getting a good support system, right? And if you can't find that, be your own support system, right? Having that stick to itness, because you're going to be lonely. They're going to be late nights. You're going to be months probably, or even days that you may not be able to make the amount of money that you envision that you're going to make, right? And it's have that stick to itness throughout the journey that you can get to that end point and realize that, hey, looking back, I always tell people start a journal early, right? And write down the little successes along the way, a little bit of motivation so that you can look back and say, hey, I remember when I opened that door, I look at the little successes that build up through in there. So you may not be seeing it, especially when you're focused on the day-to-day activities. If you don't take time to reflect and look back and say, hey, this journey was a wild one. It had ups and downs.
No, that's a real good point you're at right now because there are times I will just stand up and watch my shop and I was like, I do this. Oh, when this happened, it's kinda shocking, when this happened, when all of this happened,
Right, nice. So I mean, final things, I think you can tell people where they can find you.
Autolegions Limited. 34 Bush Street, Crep, so basically I have a Google page. You can just Google it and it'll send you the location and everything towards me.
All right, great. So thank you, Jonathan. Any final words?
Well, yeah, I could always advise never stop learning. Always try doing a new course. Elaborate on developing yourself. You can never stop developing yourself in order to continue being on top of your game. Continue studying. Do some online courses. There are a lot of free online courses as well as paid online courses. You could get a lot of certification from. Yeah, and that's basically it. Let's keep at it.
All right, folks. And thank you for joining us. I have been Shedron Collins. This has been Jonathan Joseph. And thank you and enjoy. Stay safe, folks. Like Jonathan said.